Hello. Snake bite is said to be an underreported public health problem in Nigeria. You may like to ask why, but what we do know is that its management is significantly reliant on imported drugs. Hence, the need for us to evaluate this aspect of health problem in Nigeria. Good evening and welcome to Weekend File. Nigeria has widespread and various habitats from the savanna, rainforest, the mangroves and woodlands to the plains and plateaus, all inhabited by numerous reptile species, including snakes. 4 main families of venomous snakes have been identified to be responsible for major snake bites in Nigeria, with 3 species, black-necked spitted cobra, carpet viper, and pawfadder being the most common culprits for envenomation in Nigeria. Now, snake bites to occur often between the months of February and May among the farming communities in the Benue and Niger Valley Savannah region. What has been a major challenge in snake bite management in the country is scarcity of specific antivenom, which has contributed to mortality of snake bites. Sometime last year, Nigeria celebrated the arrival of 4,000 vials of antivenom, ending months of shortage of the drugs. But experts are saying that only 3 types of antivenom are sometimes available in Nigeria. There are polyvalent, a non-specific antivenom, the pasture and airchitub antivenom, specifically developed for bites from carpet viper. They posit that the mortality rate in Nigeria can be explained by the lack of medical assistance, as only 8.5% of snake bite victims attend hospitals. In other words, most victims who are predominantly rural dwellers rely on habits. What's clear and understandable is the fact that snake bites constitute a major health problem in Nigeria and among communities of the Savannah region, especially Nigeria. Our guest tonight is Professor Abdulrazak Habib, member Snakebite Work Group, WHO, Geneva. He'll be joining us from our Kano Network Center. Now, stay with us as we deep dive into the issue of snake bites and its management in the country. My name is Kurian Umayo. It's time for news, views, and analysis. It's Weekend File on NTA. The news is first. President Muhammadu Buhari Saturday in London said that the partial closure of Nigeria's borders is not meant to punish her neighbors, but to strengthen the country's security and economy. At a meeting with a select group of the Nigerian community in United Kingdom, the president explained that the period of closure will be used for stock-taking on threats to the nation's security and the economy. He noted that Nigerian farmers have been celebrating the closure, which has basically produced smuggling or reduced smuggling of agricultural produce, as well as arms and ammunition. Commending Nigerians in the diaspora for their huge home remittances, more than $25 billion in 2018, the president also lauded their individual performances in their various fields of expertise. On security, he said it is common sense that you can only run a country if it's secured, adding that the country has not done badly in the Northeast. The president congratulated the current world heavyweight boxing champion, Anthony Joshua, who was the signature of all eyes during the meeting on regaining his world championship belt, as well as putting Nigeria on the world map again, like Hogan Bassi. On his part, Joshua, who later presented his belt to the president, pledged to stand up for Nigeria anytime you need me. Well, various speakers lauded the president's commitment to bequeathing a lasting legacy in Nigeria. Now, of course, details of that report will be coming to you in our subsequent bulletins. Now, the Nigeria Air Force is repositioning to further enhance professionalism and build the needed capacity for the effective and efficient deployment of air power in the fight against insurgency and terrorism. Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, said this during an operational visit to Lagos. Lynn Leneke was there for us. Well, that report is not ready yet. Former military President General Ibrahim Babangida has appealed to the Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, to change the narrative of the region, especially in the area of security challenges. This was when he received members of the steering committee of the ACF in Mina, preparatory to its 20th anniversary coming up for March this year. Suleiman Goldoki reports.
The Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, is a political and social-cultural association of leaders in the northern Nigeria formed in 2000, which has considerable influence in the political scene. The former military president, General Ibrahim Babangida, applauded the effort of the forum towards ensuring the corporate existence of the North and the country as a whole. Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello assured of his continued support and called on the forum to collaborate with other stakeholders to find lasting solutions to insecurity bedeviling the northern region.
Give the governors and ACF leaders opportunity to sit down and discuss most of these issues, especially with regards to security, education, agriculture, and what have you.
Earlier, the chairman of the steering committee of the forum, Senator Aliu Takadawamoko, said the aim of the visit to stakeholders in the region is towards successful hosting of the 20th anniversary.
We are trying the best we can to ensure that these elders, these stakeholders, come together to do their best, the best they can to bring back the glory known what the North has been known with.
Some of the activities lined up for the forum's anniversary slated for March include honoring some personalities and the inauguration of its new leadership. In Mina, Suleiman Kodogi, NTA News.
Now, let's take you back to the story on the Nigerian Air Force that is a repositioning to further enhance professionalism. We'll now bring you the report. Well, we seem to be having difficulty breaking that report for now. Let's go ahead. The former Imo State Governor Emeka Ihedioha says the January 14th Supreme Court judgment that sacked him from office will not affect his commitment to the nation's democratic ideals. He was speaking in Abuja while playing host to the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, led by the national chairman, Uche Secondus. Timothy Yusuf has the report.
It is a solidarity visit on the former governor of Imo State, Emeka Ihedioha, by the National Working Committee of the PDP, following the Supreme Court judgment that brought his stay in office to an abrupt end. The central message here is that of reassurance that the party remains with him as he remains the leader in Imo State.
And it should be strong and not weary.
Emeka Ihedioha says although shocked by the verdict of the Supreme Court, he remains calm and joins his supporters to maintain same.
And I want to assure you that we will remain resolute and committed to the ideals of our great party. And I want to say that that event will not put to question our faith in the Nigerian nation. It will not question our commitment to democracy. It will rather strengthen our resolve to march forward and make Nigeria a greater nation.
The People's Democratic Party says it has approached the court for a review of the Supreme Court verdict. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Long queues are still observed at the premises of the National Identity Management Commission's office names in Lagos, despite the suspension of the name as precondition for registration for Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination 2020. Felicia Musu reports. Now, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency has predicted that Nigeria and its environs will experience changes in weather conditions, citing changes in the climate weather or climatic weather patterns across the world. The Director General of the agency, Sani Mashi, identified climate change as the reason for the extreme weather conditions currently witnessed across the country. Professor Mashi explained that Nigeria weather is controlled by three different air masses, including the northeastern wind that comes from the Sahara, the southwestern wind from the Atlantic Ocean, and dusty wind from the desert.
The Sahara is coming towards the northeastern direction. Then it means the intensity of the effect of this particular wind will be greater as you move from the south toward the northern part of the country. That is explain the reason why the effect of Hamatan and all what it are the consequences of the Hamatan period, including visibility, dustiness, and others, they tend to be greater as you move towards the northern border.
He said the two winds moving at opposite direction is largely responsible for the pockets of rain being witnessed recently in the country. As global warming and its attendant consequence continues to take its toll on the environment, a collective engagement of the general public is needed to stem the tide. The Controller General, Federal Fire Service, Leman Ibrahim, said this at a forum in Mina, Niger State. Doyindia reports.
Which brought together eminent personalities, most of whom have excelled in their chosen career, away from the euphoria of connecting with former classmates and friends of the College of Arts and Islamic Studies. The Controller General of the Federal Fire Service, Liman Alhaji Ibrahim, is leaving behind a paramilitary uniform to take up the traditional paraphernalia, all in a bid to drive home his message. With an unimaginable records of fire outbreaks between the first quarter of 2019 till date, the Controller General wants cogent steps be taken on adequate sensitization of the public, especially on fire preventions and emergency response mechanism.
What we witness or we are witnessing of the recent is because of the climate change, and this is all over the world. What I advise members of the public to do, know the telephone number of the nearest fire station to you.
Presentations of plaques for outstanding and exemplary leadership added glamour to the event. Doing Dia NTA News.
Watching Weekend File on the network service NTA. The incidents of snake bites were reported as 479 per 100,000 population. We're also learning that rare cases are reported to hospitals because most victims resort to trado remedies. But what is it about snake bites in Nigeria? Find out when we come back from this break.
Plenty people don't they win plenty prizes anyhow.
My own done better because I week I came around. I'm very happy, thank you.
This machine is going to be beautiful for me. I'm going to give it to my babe. He's a fashion designer, so my life done better.
The grinding machine where I win, I can carry give my wife will be a vendor to help and well. A better thing will do for me, I tell you.
Not long ago, I promised my wife to get her a sewing machine.
I didn't see it coming. I thank God and I thank Lord for blessing me today.
Beg, score recharge with 200 naira today. Make you say following ogbonge prices like keke napep, grinding machine, generator, and industrial sewing machine. No day for liver, make soap the entire aisle.
Glow Unlimited.
Distinguished candidates. Registration for UTME and DE into Nigerian tertiary institutions takes place from January 13 to February 17, 2020. Candidates have to check their eligibility for chosen program and institutions on ibas.jamb.gov.ng before commencing the application process. Only one cell number can be used by one candidate. To generate profile code, send your surname, first name, middle name if any by text to 55019. A profile code of 10 characters is received by the candidate in same phone number and IBAS alert for pre-registration checking. The profile code is presented to purchase UTME and DE PIN. To receive a lost profile code, resend to 55019 as a text message from the same mobile number. Do not give password to any person, parent, not even that, or any so-called tutorial teacher for any purpose. Do not register twice or take UTME and DE forms for the same year. You can upgrade your UTME to DE at no cost. Multiple registration is not allowed. In the event of any error during the registration process, seek correction from JAMB. DE registration closes same day with UTME and there will be no date extension. Pay only approved prices by JAMB.
JAMB, enhancing academic excellence. This na how we dey show for holiday. This na how we dey be when you don't tey you block male. This one pass decoder. This na your family groove. Totori your family this season. Go sharply arrange Go TV decoder and Go tenor wey carry 1 month Go TV Max subscription for low body for only 6,900 naira. GoTV. Live it, love it.
This year, the weather conditions Harmattan in Nigeria is harsh, with temperature dropping very low in some parts of the country. Many underprivileged children are exposed to these harsh weather conditions, putting them at risk to all sorts of respiratory infections with devastating consequences. We require well-meaning Nigerians to kindly donate warm clothing, blankets, beverages, soap, moisturizers, and other essential items for the benefit of these children. Get involved to support displaced and underprivileged children exposed to these harsh weather conditions. Powered by Aisha Buhari Foundation.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or hear any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Your information dey important, just like your identity. Now the only way fit take allow you. Make you go browse easy.gotvafrica.com. Sign in with your IUT number and mobile number and scroll down to personal details and address. Then check where to say everything bam. You fit change the one wey not correct. To finish everything, just click the save button and it don't finish.
Thank you. I make sure say my phone number dey correct. That's not why go to the fit call me, make I come collect my own awoof.
Angel, time for my phone in that way because now my correct phone number dey for book.
Go TV, live it, love it.
Now look me again, no. You go do your own.
You're welcome back. Snakes are really not the best of friends of humanity, but going forward, what must government, victims, and medical experts do to manage snake bites? Our guest tonight, who will of course throw more light into the issue, is Professor Abdulrazak Habib, a member snake bite work group of the World Health Organization in Geneva. But he joins me tonight from Kano. Professor Habib, good evening and welcome to Weekend File.
Good evening, viewers. Thank you, Kieran, for having me here.
Yeah, thank you also for being here tonight to share your time. But I'm going to play you 3 reports, right? And of course, we get into conversation after that. First, the snake bite treatment is a major public health challenge, primarily due to paucity of drugs, and is quite expensive in Nigeria. However, Nigeria is making a breakthrough in producing the world's first ever plant origin anti-snake venom vaccine. Just as we bring in Justin Bem Unyi for the report.
Snake bite is one reptile attack that kills fast with its dreaded venom, requiring urgent medical attention for victims to survive. The World Health Organization's estimates show that about 5 million snake bites have been recorded, and 2.7 million of them develop to clinical illness, which leads to between 81,000 and 138,000 deaths each year. But it is even more worrisome in Africa, where there are indications of scarcity of anti-snake venom. It is even striking in the case of Nigeria, where WHO says there are reported cases of 174 snake bites per 100,000 population every year. Just recently, after 24 years of painstaking and intense scientific research, Nigerian scientists from the Africa Center of Excellence in Phytomedicine Research and Development, University of Jos, came out with a breakthrough on the first ever and only plant origin anti-snake venom vaccine in the world. This medical feat has successfully passed through the first phase of the preclinical trials of the pilot project, which have been concluded. Now what is left is to face the last phase of the clinical trials for subsequent commercialization.
I am made to understand by the researcher that 200 million naira is required for the phase 1 clinical trials. The phase 2 clinical trials will also require close to 400 million naira. The phase 3 will require even much more.
And that is where the challenge of the breakthrough lies. Funding is not available to complete the almost finished process and result of the most sought-for broad-spectrum antivenom vaccine in the global market, with the target of it being readily available and affordable. Professor Dan Azumi Ibrahim is the Director General, National Office of Technology Acquisition and Promotion, NOTAP, and he is skeptical about the researchers sourcing funds from foreign organizations, with a fear of someone else taking the credit of the Nigerian indigenous technology.
Where we are right away is we want to start administering it on human beings, that is the clinical trials. And they need 600 million naira for that. And there is no way the drug will go into the market without conducting these clinical trials. But unfortunately, there is no any institutional framework to provide that funding.
Key players say this is a clarion call for Nigeria to rise up to the challenge and pride herself in the science and technology sector, to which the experts say will not only be a relief for the snakebite menace in the African region, but also a sort of economic boost. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
Thank you indeed, Johnson. And as we move on, I'd like to inform you that your discretion is advised, as some of the pictures in our reports may be scary and therefore unpleasant. Now, a couple of weeks ago, 2 persons, including an 8 months pregnant woman, Zainab Ali, who died of snake bite in Kaduna. The two are among many who have died of such. In this report, Muhammad Omar Al-Jinge takes a look at incidents of snake bites in the cosmopolitan city of Kaduna and the preparedness of hospitals to handle such medical challenge. However, of course, we've informed you that your discretion is advised.
It was a dark and unforgettable day for the family of Aliu Ahmad when they lost their daughter Zainab due to a snake bite. She was 8 months pregnant. Zainab is not the only victim lost to snake bite in the state.
So we had over 30 vials, but now we have around 10 vials that's remaining. So that means we have about around 20 victims that came last year.
It is against the backdrop of the frequency of such incidents Wickham File visited some of the public hospitals to find out their readiness in case the snakes strike again. The popular ones within the metropolitan appeared to be prepared.
So we have what we call polyvalent anti-snake. So it's the one we have in the facility. That polyvalent, you can use it for any type of snake that bites you.
Same cannot be said of some primary healthcare centers where the antivenom is unavailable.
We don't have antivenom here.
Medical experts say a victim of snake bite can die immediately. That is why not only having an effective antivenom drug, but also getting it closer to the people who need it the most in remote areas is so important. Even the snake tamer Haladu Aliu, none of the localities, fell victim of snake bite and later died.
He died here.
Tatizisia Tanku Aliu has been a snake tamer all his life who records a successful treatment of snake bites.
We inherit this from our grandfathers, but it's God that brought us.
Observers say at least 3 cases of snake bites are recorded
monthly in some of the countrysides, and that they say needs to be attended to with immediate effect. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umrajingi.
Now, the high mortality rate of victims of snakebite in the southeast geopolitical zone has been attributed to the unavailability of antivenom in some of the veterinary hospitals in the zone, especially in the rural communities and farm settlements. Kelechi Ochiara takes a look at the challenges faced by the medical personnel in Enugu State in handling cases of snakebite.
The burden of human suffering caused by snake bites has been greatly underestimated as a result of inadequate qualified personnel and lack of needed equipment in the veterinary hospitals, especially in the southeast. An investigation indicates that thousands of Nigerians in the geopolitical zone fall victims of snake bites annually, and this is prevalent among agricultural workers and rural dwellers. In towns like Nsukka and the council area of Enugu State, the estimated incidence of snake bites is about 450,000 population every year, with 10 or 15% comprising untreated fatalities.
Seen somebody that snake bite and the person died instantly, so I'm afraid to enter inside my shop because snake will bite me.
In rainy seasons, snake used to follow the forest and enter our compound here.
However, veterinary doctors in Enugu State say the availability, distribution, and utilization of antivenom remain a challenge.
Antivenom specifically is for humans, but when the need arises, in case of snake bites, we can go to the pharmacy and get the antivenom.
As reptiles are predominant during relatively hot climate conditions, an expert in the profession enumerates vital measures to adopt in getting rid of snakes in residential environments and offices.
Physically try to create barriers between your house and your immediate environment, digging enough drainage, and then from time to time fumigating both the inside and outside so that those reptiles can pop.
Assisting National Health Authority in selecting and purchasing antivenoms suitable for Nigerians, experts suggested is a sure way to control snake venoms. In Enugu, Kelechi Ochiara, NTA News.
All right, Kelechi, thank you. And now let's go back to Kano, where we have our guest, Professor Abdulrazak Habib, a member snakebite work group of the World Health Organization. Prof, let's begin by taking you back to the first report that was brought to us by Johnson Bem Unyi, where he talked about plant-based anti-venom has been produced by the University of Jos. And as a matter of fact, last year, the Vice-Chancellor of that university, Professor Sebastian Memako, announced to Nigerians the development of that anti-venom. And from what we had in that report, from the DG of NOTAP, who responded to Justin's question, said that, look, it requires 60 million naira to actually commercialize that product. What do you know about that product, and how far can we go as a nation with that drug?
Thank you, Kirian. John Agui actually is a good friend, and we've worked together in the past. The product that he has developed is truly the first of its kind. But that is not to say herbal remedies have not been explored in the past. Colleagues in various institutions within the country and also externally abroad have tried several other products, herbal products, and they've been found to work in many instances. But what has not been established really is the standardization of products from herbal practitioners. In the case of the vaccine that John Agui has developed, he's already done a number of experiments in mice and animal studies, and it has shown some promise. As was pointed out, it needed to go through a number of phases, phase 2, phase 3, and even a phase 3 survey to ensure that really it worked in humans in large numbers of patients. As you know, in phase 1 and phase 2, relatively very few patients are sort of studied. Unless we have a large number, generally a product will not be deemed to be effective and safe. The cost of a clinical trial, however, is enormous even in the most advanced countries, let alone in countries such as Nigeria, where there are infrastructural issues and many other regulatory issues. That is not to say it cannot be done. I think 60 million naira, in my view, is a very appropriate amount. I would imagine that he may even require much more than that to conduct a product development clinical trial from 1 to phase 3. However, having said that, I think that it's also need for replicability of the product. That is to say, other groups of scientists within the country and in other parts of the world to be given this substance, for them also to study it, to determine its efficacy in phase 1 and in subsequent phases. As it is, I know of one country that has tried a vaccine, Myanmar in particular, Burma. Many years ago, they developed a vaccine, a venoid, they called it, but it's not to do with a plant product. Rather, it's from the venom that they developed this particular vaccine. In Myanmar, snake bite is the 5th commonest cause of death in their own population among rice farmers, so they prioritized it. And the results of those studies suggested that after many years and fairly substantial investment, the vaccine in Myanmar was not useful. So that is why I think it's very important we have a multi-center study with several other experts involved in the product development. Equally important, however, I agree, is the need to be careful whenever you've developed a new product that you do not want someone to go on to somehow harness the benefit. So the issue of patenting intellectual property has to be put in place before somehow it's distributed to other scientists to try the product. It's a good product, and I think the country should support the work fully. I recall some years ago, about 4 years ago, in a similar vein, we met with the Executive Secretary Ted Fund, who promised a sizable fund. For us, we were even requesting for 150 million then, but somehow it never materialized. So these studies are fairly capital intensive, but truly there is need for them before a product enters into clinical use, into routine clinical use. As it is, the other donors across the world have been coming in to fill in the gap. Just 2 days ago, actually, the announcement by Wellcome Trust last year in December for an £80 million grant on snakebite. And just 2 days ago, they've released on their website the details of aspects of snakebite they will be funding. And studies such as Prof. John Agui's study perhaps can explore funding from Wellcome Trust in the UK.
All right, Prof. Along the same line of your thought, in the past, we had that the Federal Minister of Health had some kind of a collaboration with some foreign organizations with respect to the manufacture of antivenom. For instance, there is an organization in Costa Rica that was engaged, as well as, of course, the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine. So will that kind of collaboration work, especially with respect to the newly developed vaccine by University of Jos?
Yes, like I said earlier on, I've discussed this with John Agui and his collaborators. One of the things they hinted me is the need to first somehow entrench intellectual property, patenting, ownership issues, the legal issues that needed to be sorted out before taking a product such as this to the outside world. And you're right, the Liverpool School for Tropical Medicine, during the time of the late Professor Ransom Kuti, who invested fairly substantial amount of Nigerian funds to develop antivenoms for Nigerian patients, over about £2 million, I think, over years. And the products eventually they came to fruition. One is Equitab G, and the other is a polyvalent product from Costa Rica. I visited both institutions. Right now, I do collaborate with both institutions. But the real objective of that project was that there should be a north-south transfer, technology transfer, in such a manner at the end of the project, there should be in-country production of antivenom. That never took place. That has not taken place. There are two products that have been developed. They are specific for Nigerian snakes. They are also effective for many snakes within the West African sub-region. But truly, the ownership of those products remains with companies and producers in the United Kingdom and also in Costa Rica.
All right, thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof. I will bring in two more reports before we conclude our conversation. Zaran Umar Adamu in Gombe State reports that Kaltungo local government area harbors one of the deadliest snakes in the world, the carpet viper, with its devastating consequences on the people.
Ngo, the second largest town in Gombe State, with its surrounding villages, are situated in a mountainous and rocky environment, which also provide perfect breeding ground for carpet viper, a highly poisonous snake, which kills within the shortest possible time if victim is not treated. Many have fallen victims over the years, with unspecified death casualties. Thanks to the authorities for seeing the establishment of a snakebite hospital in town. The special hospital, which has been upgraded to a snakebite research center, is said to have contributed immensely in reducing the gravity of the devastation from within and outside.
Reduce the rate of deaths in the area and then beyond.
Records show that out of 3,136 snakebite victims received by the center in 2019, only 58 couldn't survive, while 18 were brought in dead.
We have two groups that are started searching in the hospital. We have a group named as Nigerian Snakebite Research and Intervention Center and an African Snakebite Research Group.
There is, however, fear posed by growing challenges of inadequate manpower, electricity, and anti-snake venom. But the State Commissioner of Health, Dr. Ahmed Ghana, assures that there is no cause for alarm.
We're looking at the Northeast Development Commission prioritizing on that, so that they make the hospital a major priority of their interventions, especially on the health component. And we're also looking at the possibility of, writing to state governments around the Northeast sub-region, so that they see the hospital as, a common center for all of us.
Some patients express satisfaction with the care being given to them, even as they called for improvement of the healthcare facility. Zara Umar Adam, NTA News.
Now, over 2,000 cases of snake bites were treated at Zamko General Hospital in Langtang, north of Plateau State in 2019, a figure which places the state the highest prevalence rate of snake bites. Hezi Gopep reports.
Snakebite is a public health problem that plagues many rural communities in Nigeria. Plateau State was ranked among states with highest rates of snake bites, common among farmers. Children who dip hands in rat holes in search of rats also get their fingers bitten by snakes.
The commonest one we have on the plateau is Aedes catenatus. The
all the Gobe inside. And then we have Poof Ada, then we have Speeding Cobra. These are different types of snakes.
Zamco Comprehensive Health Center, located in southern parts of the state, is a 40-bed hospital, a rural outpost of the Jos University Teaching Hospital, known for the treatment of snake bites. Most of the victims here are from the southern parts of the state, while others are from neighboring states of Bauchi, Taraba, and Benue. Of concern, however, is the high cost of the anti-snake venom, as most of the patients, as at the time of our visit, have been discharged but are detained in the hospital due to their inability to settle their bills.
We're hoping that government will support research into snake bite to enable us to produce our own snake venom detection kit that will help us clearly and objectively.
Every day there must be 2, 3, 4 people dying of snake bite. We need an urgent intervention.
Worried by the high cost of the treatment, the University of Jos engaged in a series of research in search of a locally produced anti-snake venom. The effort resulted in the discovery of anti-snake venom by the university, though still on its trial stages.
It's for government to show interest, although it has been showing a bit of that interest from NOTAP.
The concern of medical experts and other stakeholders in preventive health care is that a lot needs to be done in areas of intervention to tackle the acute shortage of the anti-snake venom if the death toll arising from it is to be eliminated. Ashezigo Pep, NTA News.
And finally, from Oyo State, Raphael Animal Shop reports that snake bite victims of Okogo area resort to local method of treatment due to high cost of hospital bill.
Okogo area in Oyo State can be described as the food basket of the state, with its huge land mass for agricultural activities. Okogo is faced with snake bites, common in rural areas of many tropical developing countries, mainly affecting the youth and agrarian populace. Studies show that snake bite victims presented beyond 24 hours after the bite constitute independent risk factors for high cost of care. A visit to General Hospital Kishi showed that patients presented with various kinds of ailments with access to drugs at the facility.
Usually comes with localized swelling. We give a localized injections, drugs.
Most of our analgesics, they are in large supplies. Other drugs that we do use like hydrocorts and some other drugs too.
It started one evening while looking outside, and I just noticed something bites me on my right leg, and I started shouting, "Scorpion," and later noticed it was a snake, and was treated medically.
At the State Hospital Shaki, findings indicated low cases of snake bite patients in the last 12 months, despite the preparedness of the hospital to handle such medical challenge.
Over the past 4 years, we've had about 14 cases of snake bite admitted.
If it can still be free now, we also appreciate it, because when they come from the village like that, they are not with enough money that can buy anti-snake venom.
People do hardly access health care due to high costs. They are clear with government to provide anti-snake bite venom vaccine free of charge. Fear Animation Badmos, NTA News.
All right, we take a commercial break. When we return, we'll bring back Professor Habib from Kano to speak to the report we have just presented. Stay with us.
Now today or 4 days when my girls won't come visit, and I need to come go expire.
Oh, my guys, they can't follow me watch this match. I must not fold the hand. Hey,
It's sorry to disappoint you, but my subscription don't expire.
The match is not on my Go TV package.
Now your holla be that. I beg, give me your phone. I think I show you how you go take do for my Go TV app for your phone.
Life is so much easier with my Go TV app. Make payments, clear error messages, change your package. You can also check your due dates and keep abreast of your payment history. The cornerback is there. The new My Go TV app is everything you need in one place. So what are you waiting for? Download My Go TV app now from Google Play or App Store to enjoy the easy life. Go TV. Live it, love it.
Not so fast. Look, I'm tired. I want to check out this country for greener pastures.
Just calm for a moment. Please sit down. Do you have a job where you're going to?
But someone is arranging,
Listen, Alejo. Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin. You know, I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alejo, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad, or even end up in prison.
All right, thank you for staying with us. Now, back to Kano, where we have our guest, Professor Abdulrazak Habib. Prof, you watched three different reports from different parts of the country, and what resonated the high cost of snake bites, unavailability of drugs in some cases, and of course the reliance of victims, their reliance on a traditional medicine for treatment. What's your take?
Yeah, I've been to all those three places, and actually we still work in southern Gombe at Kaltungo. Our research group is the one mentioned in the report by Justin. The problem of scarcity of antivenom is a real one, and whenever you have stock out of antivenom, generally death rises. We've studied this in Kaltungo. We've seen that if there's stock out, the number of people who die tends to climb several-fold. The government of Gombe State has been trying. As the Honorable Commissioner for Gombe State mentioned, many of the patients may not necessarily be from within Gombe. Some are from Bauchi, Adama, Taraba, at times as far as Cameroon. Consistently, the government has supplied antivenom, and the Federal Minister of Health also supplies antivenom. Right now, as we speak, I'm aware that the federal government is about to supply antivenom throughout the whole country. But equally, also the Presidential Commission on Northeastern Initiative also occasionally supplies antivenom, but inadvertently, at times you run out of antivenom with severe consequences. I do believe that the major problem or the major solution should be funding, improved allocation of resources for snake bite and other neglected tropical diseases, improvement in distribution to the most rural areas, because as was also pointed out, delay from the site to bite to a facility with the antivenom also leads to or predicts those who die. In addition, I think the country has to find a way of producing antivenom through either a public-private partnership. The expertise exists, is largely by chemists, immunologists, animal scientists. So I think that there is no reason why Nigeria should continue to import antivenom. As it stands now, it's mostly Indian products that get into the country, in addition to the Equitab G. The Equitab products are very effective, but the Indian products have not been tested, and we've shown on several occasions that they even are harmful. They are useless. They are not effective. Although I'm aware that the Indians are also improving the manufacturing practices. The other thing is, I think, also there is need for training, capacity building, ensuring healthcare workers are well trained on snake bite with the antivenom or without it. Like the case of the lady who died in Kaduna, clearly she could have been saved even without antivenom. She came in with paralysis, from what I read, and ideally she should have been admitted mechanically ventilated because all her muscles, she couldn't use them. So there is need for...
Prof, I'm happy you mentioned the case of the lady that died in Kaduna State, but something surprising happened when that incident took place. It was surprising to many that antivenom drugs were found in some hospitals in Kaduna as well.
You see, that is where the sensitization, the advocacy, knowing where to go also counts. Because I understand they went to 44 Hospital, and from there they were trying to go to the hospital at NNPC in southern Kaduna instead of the hospital within Kaduna city. So there is need for the communication, for information and community engagement. If you look at the World Health Organization roadmap, which was launched in May, actually the current Minister for Health, myself, in Geneva at the time when it was launched, it hinges on 4 major pivots. 1, safe and effective antivenom. 2nd, health system strengthening. 3rd, partnership and collaboration. But the 4th point is community enlightenment, education, and communication. So that 4th component is something that is also lacking. Research groups and clinicians across the country have been going on to train medical healthcare workers, nurses, pharmacists. But at times, even when you conduct a training, if the antivenom is lacking, the training may not be as useful. So there has to be funding for improved supply of antivenoms. Sri Lanka, for instance, spends $10 million annually to procure antivenoms, and even that, mortality is significant even there. I believe Nigeria has the resources to be able to invest large...
I wish we have time to go on and on. We would like to thank you indeed. Prof, time is not on our side at the moment. We'd like to thank you for your professional contribution to this program this evening and having had time to reach us all the way from Kano. Thank you indeed, Professor Abdulrazak Habib. Professor Habib is a member of the Snake Bite Work Group of the WHO in Geneva. Now you're still watching Weekend File. Stay with us for a short break.
Follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. All visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Channel where you watch just now don't waka. No panic. There's me no panic. You could do it by yourself like ABC. Oh yeah, press the menu button on top your remote. Scroll up and down till you see Information Central. Then press OK. Press OK. Check the signal strength and quality. If the signal strength and quality pass 70, make you press the edit button, go back. Go advanced options, then choose installation, then go to reset and press OK. Yeah, press OK.
Wow, now you self fit catch all those channels will be one miss road by yourself. Yes, make your group for no loss. You see as I do, Abi? And I see as I do,
Go TV, live it, love it.
I see as we do,
World heavyweight champion Nigeria's Anthony Joshua presents his belt to President Muhammadu Buhari in London. Olumide Eguntola has this and more on Sports Update.
Two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world, Anthony Olasheni Joshua, earlier today met with President Muhammadu Buhari in London for the first time. The Nigerian-born British boxer, while presenting his IBF WBO belt to the president, could not hide his joy and sense of humility as he prostrated to greet the president while also taking selfies with President Muhammadu Buhari. Joshua's meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari comes just 6 weeks after regaining his IBF, WBO, and WBA titles from Mexican American Andy Ruiz. The African Union of Broadcasting is organizing a two-day evaluation session in Douala on the media coverage of 2019 AFCON in Egypt. The meeting is coming at a time when African broadcasters have been complaining of high cost of media rights and difficult procedures.
As a union, we have to listen to our members in order to be capable to serve them in a better way. I ask that people should speak frankly. You need to know what are the problems so that they should help us to serve them better.
The evaluation report will be studied by the Executive Bureau of the AUB for onward reforms and negotiations with organizers of major sports events such as Confederation of African Football (CAF) and Federation of International Football Association (FIFA). The managing director of NBA Africa, Adefar, lauded Nigeria for its numerous contributions towards the growth of the game of basketball home and abroad. He confirmed that efforts are on to establish the NBA Basketball African League, among other programs meant to discover talents at the grassroots.
Professional league, for the first time the NBA partnering with FIBA to launch a league outside of North America. Nigeria is a very important country in everything that we do to grow the sport of basketball across the continent. So I think it's just fitting that after we launched our logo 2-3 weeks ago in Kigali.
And in the English Premier League, matches decided on Saturday indicate that Manchester City were held at home to draw by Crystal Palace. Newcastle United recorded a 1-0 victory at the expense of Chelsea, while the affair between Arsenal and Sheffield United ended 1-goal apiece, among other results. With sports updates, Olumide Guntola, NTA News. All right, before we go, let's inform you that President Buhari's meeting with a select group of the Nigerian community in the UK will be coming to you in our subsequent bulletin. For now, let's check out the weather. All right, and that's our program for today. We thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week.
Coming soon in March 2020 in the capital city Abuja, the Ivory 8 Ball, a life-saving fundraising event featuring music and arts in aid of skin cancer patients with albinism. For participation and sponsorship, please call Edidion, Chinwe. This event is supported by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA TV Enterprises, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, and the Albino Foundation. The Ivory 8 Ball, for a worthy cause. Watch out.
NTA, you can. Network Service of the NTA.
This year, the weather conditions Harmattan in Nigeria is harsh, with temperature dropping very low in some parts of the country. Many underprivileged children are exposed to these harsh weather, putting them at risk